EKG continuously.
Oh, yeah. You probably wore something, that's called a holder, that's a holder monitor. And that's where they do what's called an ambulatory EKG. And that's what they say, okay, you put this thing, I had to do that. I did that last year. I've been teaching about it all along. But I had an ambulatory EKG, and you said you go back and do your normal stuff. I mean, I even worked out with it on. I mean, I did it with it keeps a record. Then you send the thing in or take it back in to the cardiologist, to their office, and they interpret your walking around your ambulatory EKG. And that's what you had. It's called a holder, H-O-L-T-E-R, holder monitor. That's for ambulatory, like you go about your normal routine, your normal daily activities, but that thing is constantly monitoring your electrical, your EKG stuff. It's constantly monitoring all that. And it's giving a readout. It's giving these readouts like this under different situations all through the day. And they can detect AFib, they can detect. Now, one thing you can't have is VFib. Ventricular fibrillation, you can't. In other words, with VFib, which you'll learn, let me show y'all. This is VFib right here. That's VFib, right there. You will die. And with VFib, see, that's VFib right there where my fingers are. And that's when it's just what the EKG looks like this. Like that. There's no cardiac output. VFib means the ventricles are doing this. Rather than they want. And there's no cardiac output, and what they do there, they get to you, and that's where they use the paddles. They go, you know, and shock it, try to get the heart back in rhythm. But people can't live with that. So that's interesting that you said that. That's very, very interesting. We're going to get to the EKG in just a minute. So we want, now with the SA node, you know, SA node, patient's been known to survive 20, where the AV node is the pacemaker. SA node, if the SA node is destroyed, the AV node will repolarize about 40 to 50 beats a minute normally. And I just say, now though, I mean now, like I was telling y'all, one group I was telling, Robert E. Lee, the Confederate general, he had a heart attack before Gettysburg. Robert E. he survived that. Robert E. Lee had, of course that was Gettysburg was in 1863. And the war was over, the Civil War was over, Appomattox was in 1865. After the war, Robert E. Lee became president of what we call regents now. They sought him out, the regents did, of Washington University, and asked him, and begged him. And he became president of Washington University, which became WNL, Washington and Lee. And he died in 1870 at the age of 63. Very young for a man now, but he died from a heart condition. He actually had a heart condition. And so, now, we say, well, what did he have? Well, that was 1865, 1870. You know, that's a long time ago. So, you know, now he could probably have been given medication. Now he could have been given things to keep his heart, keep everything going. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know anything about anything in 1860-something in medicine. I mean, that was just back in that was archaic. That was back in the Dark Ages. But anyway, everybody, the average heart rate, so probably with him, they would have used a pacemaker. I don't know what they would have done. You know, if he had congestive heart failure, what he had, he didn't smoke, but he just had a congenital heart defect. But anyway, everybody, the average heart rate is about 70 beats per minute. We're going to do that next in lab. We're going to get our heart rate. We're going to talk about hematocrit. We're going to do our blood type. For anybody that wants to do it, it's not required. You don't have to do your blood type. I will demonstrate my blood type and let you see what's going on with blood type. And then we'll do some slides. We'll do some slides we didn't do in 2401 is the kind of slides we'll do. And so, anyway, there is that part right there. That's just a little bit on that thing. Oh, come on, guys. Come on, don't hurt for that. All right, so let's go ahead and get our. Let's go ahead and go down here and get our little symbol right here. Get this going now. Right there we go. There's it. That's what we've been talking about. And so the SAAV node. Now, here's what we need to. You say your heart rate, your sister's heart raced. Racing heart. All right, a racing heart, y'all. A racing heart is tachycardia. That means a rapid heart rate. Tachycardia. Oh yeah, you're going to have a rapid heart rate if you run those bleachers out there. You're going to get a rapid heart rate. All right, now bradycardia is like, I had this on my desk if I wasn't. That's one thing about this over there, I have my desk, I run up and get a little, I was thinking about the lab test and everything else. Got a deal on Lance Armstrong. I need to bring that to you. I need to bring it and read you some things about him. They've done physiological studies on him. Lance Armstrong was genetically endowed with a system that was geared for endurance type stuff. He had a resting heart rate, and I don't know about right now, but he had a resting heart rate of 35. He had a lung capacity, now I don't know again now, he had a lung capacity that's way above the average person. He had an extra long femur. His femur, he has a body design for this bicycle type stuff. He did. It's really amazing to look at some of the physiological studies they've done on Lance Armstrong. Of course, he survived testicular cancer too. He did survive it. He's a cancer survivor. And but anyway, we'll go into that a little bit. Now, right here, everybody. Now, here we get into the electrocardiogram. Now, the reason they say EKG, if you say it in English terms, it's electrocardiogram, C-A-R-D. The reason they normally say in the hospital EKG is because and I can't even spell it in German, but it's electrocardio with a K. Cardio, if you look at the German term for that, and it's in your book, the German term for that, and so it's easy to say, so in a clinical situation they say EKG, that's from German. And you say, well, you see ECG. Now, another thing I've heard, you say ECG, EEG, EEG is electroencephalogram. ECG, electrocardiogram. Well, to keep from getting those three, the EKG. EKG, EEG. That's distinguishable. So in your clinical work, they will be using the term EKG, electrocardiogram. But it does come from German. That's a German word. And so that's why I put it up there. So if you ever wondered about that. All right, now also, everybody, in other words, when the normal lead is a 12-lead EKG. When the mute hooked me up the other day, the mute, you remember Jerry, the mute in Dr. Leachman's office? He always does it. He says, okay, take your shirt off. Okay. All right, yeah. All right, now. Boom, 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 okay? And the hard part is, because I kind of have a little hairy chest, not real bad. So the bad thing is when you pull those things off, it kind of stings a little bit. But anyway, he hooked up several of these what he's hooking up to is leads. Now the lead is what detects. The lead detects the electrical impulse from the heart. And so all the time I'm on the EKG, he said, okay, we're going to, he mumbled, start off walk. What'd you say, Jerry? We're going to start off slow walk on the treadmill. Walk like that for a few seconds, for a minute or so. Okay, I'm going to speed it up. Speed it up, Jerry. All right, now I'm going to elevate it. Okay, he elevates it. Then he speeds up, and finally I'm going really, really fast. Now I don't want you in a run on that thing. I want you in a really, really fast walk. And then all the time that's going on, this sphygmomanometer, the blood pressure cuff, is going all the time through all phases of that. And what he's doing is he will turn what he gets. He will turn what he gets from that. He doesn't know anything, but he knows what he's doing on the machine. But he'll turn that into the cardiologist, and then the cardiologist will look at it and kind of eyeball, review it, and see if anything's out of the